I'm so glad that it got you there and back safely, many times as it did.
Yeah, it saved me while you were gone.
Yeah, that's cool.
Today, Jack and I are both fighting the battle of rust. Jack is trying to work on the small quad that I was using while he was gone. This little one, this little 4 tracks of Steve's. Trying to get the axle off. And it's just rusted on there. So he is stymied a bit. Doesn't have quite the right tools to get that to happen. And I started working on this, on refurbishing the stove. But same kind of deal. I mean, it's just so rusty. And I don't seem to have the right... A wire brush is just not going to do it. I'm going to have to sand it, and I guess I've been watching some vinegar, or I've been watching some vinegars. No, I've been watching some videos, and one of them said shock it with vinegar and baking soda, and another said rubbing alcohol to clean it off. Not sure, so we're both feeling a bit stymied.
Might be time for a paddleboard.
Yeah, it might be time to just get on our paddle boards and float for a while.
Might be our last chance in a long time.
That's true. The weather is changing. It's a much nicer day today than I thought it was going to be, though. Slightly cloudy, but sunny too. It's once again considered a very lovely day.
Yes.
But yeah, I could probably scrub this with these wire brushes until the cows come home, and there's no cows around here, so except for cow moose, actually. Yeah, it's so rusted. Well, this is probably a weird and ineffective thing to do, but I'm just kind of stymied, like I said. So I had this bottle of Japanese vinegar that's had a broken top and's been sitting here for a couple of years. I figured that's probably no good to use anymore. So I dumped a bunch of that on here and just kind of letting it work on the rust, and I'll scrub it and rinse it and dry it and see what I got. I know, it's desperate measures, but this is another, it could be doing what I can with what I've got, and just being innovative, or just being desperate and crazy. Seems to be breaking up the rust. I don't know. Nothing to it but to try it. Can't hurt. All right, smelling pretty good. I'll add a little salt. Nothing else, we'll just eat this stove for dinner. There we go. See how that works. Probably just have to get more of the proper things. They also said, one of them said baking soda. Another said rubbing alcohol to clean it off. I don't know. This does seem to be breaking it up more, I must say. I'll let this kind of soak and see if it loosens up the rust and makes it so that I can just kind of rinse it off. I don't know. I'll leave this for like an hour and then rinse it and see what happens. Might actually work. Just gotta get enough off that I can put the paint on, the blackening paint. I don't know. Yeah. mess. That much I know. Well, I think the salt and the vinegar did loosen some of the rust, but it's just so thick that I keep scrubbing and scrubbing and scrubbing. I've been rinsing with water to wash the rust away as I scrub it down, but man, it's just, you know, I can keep scrubbing and scrubbing and it just keeps turning orange wherever I scrub, so I don't know about this. See, it just keeps turning completely orange. So I'm not sure. I might have to get a power tool and really power tool it off. I don't know if you have to literally get all the rust off for the paint to work, because, boy, if that's the case, I may just have to live with the rusty stove until I can afford the stove I want. She's been flirting with the idea of catching a dragonfly. I don't think she's succeeded. Remember 2 years ago when we helped Steve with his woodshed? Well, that project is still ongoing. And Steve is up here at the lake, and he and John started working on that this morning and came over and said, we need a tall guy. And that would be Jack, of course. So we're off for Steve's woodshed version 3.0. Well, that mission was aborted. Steve's not feeling up to it. Last winter, Steve had open heart surgery, and it was a big deal, and he had some complications, and yeah, he's still recovering. You know, he's still running into the limitations of his recovery. So we're not going to do that right now. He's evaluating what he wants to do about it. And we are going to, instead, we're thinking about, you know, as we got a couple weeks left here, and we're hoping to not have to take the tent back with us. We're hoping not to have to tear it down damp and take it back with us. So to increase the odds of that working out the way we want, we're thinking we'll throw a great big tarp over it today, keep it a little drier from the outside, and maybe that'll up the chances of it being dry enough to leave here when we go. So that's what we'll do instead. We're all dressed up and know where to go. Well, we got this tarp over the roof. We'll see if that helps. And it's just started to rain a tiny, tiny little bit. Supposed to be raining today and then nice again tomorrow. And we're getting ready to attempt to insulate the walls inside. That shouldn't take long, should be very easy. Got the plastic sheeting out. We'll measure our spaces, cut the sheets of plastic, and then I will cut the appropriate lengths of fiberglass insulation to go in the spaces. And we'll staple it all together and voila, that part will be done. I figure we'll start with this wall because there's this little baby space in the corner that we can do first and kind of get our methodology down. Finish stuffing some insulation in those narrow spots, cut a little strip for that spot, and boom, 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 it'll be done. Yeah.
Jesus.
It's hard.
Oh, we're rolling.
Okay, we're doing our first cuts of the visqueen. We need a 2 foot by 7 foot, a 2 foot 7 by 4 foot something. And the plastic is 6 feet wide. Unfortunately, we only have these tiny little scissors. Yeah, maybe we should just get the box cutter. That'll probably be a lot easier, huh?
Yeah, and then something to
Something
slide under. Yeah.
Let's see.
I've got a knife.
Where's the box cutter? What does it do with that? Question. Probably inside the house somewhere. Okay.
1, 2, cha cha cha.
Now, we'll take the ball down. Let's measure. Okay, I'll just section. The next space to be covered with visqueen is this one. Da 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 da.
Let's make it even.
Alrighty, and just like that, we're almost done with insulating the walls. I'm not sure about the gable ends up there, if it should be this insulation or the other insulation.
What are gable ends?
You know, the spaces up there.
Oh, yes, of course. Oh, the gable ends.
I'll have to ask Billy. Of course, then he's going to ask what R factor this insulation that Ralph gave us is. And I don't know. I didn't see it written on it. And
Stands for Ralph.
yes, it's the Ralph factor. And it's R free and R here. That's and R used. I figure whatever Ralph used is plenty good enough for us. Okay, let me get that other end lined up and see where we're at. Hang on.
I can do it. You just hold the camera. It looks beautiful. Oh, we got anything else? Oh, it's plenty of room.
Yeah, I figured it's always better to cut big. That's what Billy said too.
Yeah, okay.
So that we have plenty of overflap that can just be trimmed.
Oh, flat, oh, flat.
Yep.
Oh, man, okay. And it's high enough?
Yeah. High enough, low enough. We got plenty overage on this piece.
And a little bit of a tear on the top, so I'm going to pull it up a little bit.
Go ahead. We got plenty on all edges. Put those out. Get there.
else.
It'll be interesting to see if just doing the walls makes any difference in the heat retention. Because with the ceiling not done, I don't think it's going to make a lot of difference, but it should make a little difference anyway. Off we go. We are heading back up to the lake. We just completed, I think, a very efficient, good trip to town for supplies, a little bit of food, some tools, and supplies that we need for finishing the walls. And got everything packed on here like a little Tetris board. Got the eggs in my backpack. Hopefully they're going to be okay. They're tucked into a little nook here, so my pack is like half on, half off. And I have the bread in a bag tied to my back. So hopefully the eggs and the bread will make it. Not be smashed. And it's another trip up the tracks. We'll see what we will see. Fireweeds are all bloomed out here. Just a couple of little blossoms here and there. It's over. Home at last. Another beautiful evening. Rained like hell yesterday and last night, but it's a beautiful evening now. And unfortunately, the cabin is a wreck. I've got oodles of dishes to do. But first, the important thing to see is whether the eggs made it in my new unconventional manner of carrying them. I was trying to keep them in the nook and not crushed against anything.
What?
I'm telling them that I'm about to check and see if the eggs made it or not.
The precious eggs.
This is a big suspenseful moment.
Ooh.
Gotta make sure I'm catching it. And this is the bread. I tied the bread very tightly onto the pack so it would ride on top. Of course, now I can't get it untied. I have to cut them.
Here.
Scissors.
Oh, good to be doing this.
Okay. We've liberated the bread. The bread is fine. Now the eggs are riding lovingly on some rolls of toilet paper. So they had a nice cushion. Let's see. I don't see any wetness. Perfect. Success. Woo! So as we were getting close to the lake, John was out walking Chewy, and Chewy met us. Chewy ran ahead of John and came to meet us, and he ran along back with us. And right here behind our cabin, when we were just about to turn onto our driveway, Chewy started barking and looking into the woods and acting like he was going to go run after something. And he remained barking a little bit. We pulled up here, and a minute later, Chewy came, but we heard him bark some more, but then he came and joined us. And then John just came over and said, "Hey, Beth, there's really fresh bear tracks right behind here. There was just a bear back there." So between the time that he went for his walk, which was right before we came home, and now, so he's going to fetch one of our close trail cams cards so that we can check it out. Maybe we got the bear on video. But isn't it funny? It's such a beautiful day. We're driving along, and we had no idea that we were so close to a grizzly bear. We probably pushed him off the trail. You just never know. It's another very active day here at the homestead. we decided that we had not put quite enough insulation in the walls because, you know, you get so much advice from so many people. And I took too seriously the don't pack the insulation advice from Billy. And he didn't mean on the walls. He meant on the ceiling and just as a general philosophy. So added more insulation and then used this horrible acoustic sealant crap to seal the edges, make the moisture barrier. But anybody who's a real contractor would just be horrified at how sloppy it is. But it's done. These walls are insulated and sealed up as well as I could do it anyway. So that's done, and hopefully we can get to the point where we're putting the wood on the walls too to cover that up so no one will ever see it but us. And the other good progress that's being made today is Jack successfully got the axle off of the little quad, and he's... What are you posing now?
Oh, hello. I didn't hear you or see you coming.
You're so funny. And so he's able to fix the bearing on this little machine. So we will have this machine up and running before we go too, which is nice.
Yeah. PB blaster and a little wire wheel to release the rust that seizes it on.
Yep, there you go.
Yeah.
That was the ticket. All right, all kinds of progress being made. I've been sussing out boards for the walls. We need boards long enough. And I'm going to clean them up and stain them and make them look really cool. It's going to be pretty. It's going to be quaint, rustic, but not gross. That's the that's the objective. So in a little while, we're going to go down to John's because Steve is cooking a turkey dinner. Stranger things have happened, but not many.
You did 2 years ago when I was here last.
Yeah, he did. On my birthday, he cooked a turkey dinner.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, so that'll be nice. And, like I said, hopefully we'll get these walls all covered up before anybody sees how sloppy the insulating job was. Little secrets, little funky secrets. The other thing I'm going to get done today, now that I have spent the first part of the day doing a deliciously sloppy job on finishing up the insulating for the walls, is I'm going to create a flap, an insulating flap to fasten to the bottom of the door that will move with the door like a draft, like, you know, those draft dodger things, a stuffed thing to stop the drafts. Yeah, that's self-explanatory. So I'm going to, custom make one. It's going to be the same cloth that I did the insulating around the door with. And I'm going to use this nice packing material. And then I bought a rod. Where did I put that? Okay, I'll show you that. So first thing is to roll this up nicely and sew it in. Make a little tube, if you will. There it is, actually. Alright, this we can double. And we can lay our stuff in it. Not sure how we want to do this. Okay, so it's going to go like that, be stapled to the bottom of the door, but it needs weight, right? I knew that, and I bought this at Moore's. So, slide that in there. We have to re-roll it. We will roll that into the middle of the stuffing. We can just, well, might as well put it right in the middle. Yeah, okay. Be a little more organized about this. Very good. Put that right in the middle, like so. We will roll it, and that will give it the weight it needs, because it needs to move with the door. Oh yeah. I think we'll even maybe wrap these around it. This is just old packing material that was around. Okay, let's see how that might be a little too much. I think I can't double this cloth. Yeah. I need to have it single so that I can do a long enough flap. Okay, let's do it like this, like this. Yeah, and then I could actually roll this too. Maybe? No, because then I'd lose my flap. Yeah, okay. This has to be. Okay, well, I'm going to have to do some tying up of the roll if I want to add this. So I'll take some string and wrap that, make the roll good. I will keep you posted on the progress of this. Okay, so what I did, just did some duct tape to hold that into a roll shape. The bar of threading, whatever it is, picked up at the hardware stores in there. The length of this material happens to be pretty much exactly the length of the bottom of the door, so that's cool. And you guys see that the space I'm working with, it's really uneven, it's wonky, the whole door. I don't know if you remember from last year, I had the challenge of doing the insulating around the door with all the gaps being different. And you may wonder, well, why don't we, cut a real door and frame it in and have it all neat and square and insulate it like real people do in the real world? Well, there's a lot of reasons. But I think it boils down to, this is the door that my dad built and put into this cabin, and I want to keep it. So there. So, I'm going to now sew this lightly, just baste it, because it's going to be stapled to the bottom of the door so that the flap hangs down over that gap. And we'll see how that works. That's the next step. We're testing the concept. I love it. All right, the little draft dodger, or conscientious objector as we call it, has passed its thumbtack audition. Now I'm going to take it down and trim up those ends, sew those ends shut, and then staple it in place. I'm very pleased. Another thing we picked up at Moore's yesterday was the wire wheel, so that we could try to just really blast that rust off. It seems to be the only way to really do it. So Jack's working on that today too. We're being super active, getting so much done. Woohoo! Gonna be quite a job, huh?
Got a little bug here that's helping out.
Okay, it is done. It's in place. I think I'm going to stick with it being just tacked there for now in case I want to adjust it or change the materials or whatever, rather than staple it quite yet. But let me, what do you think, Shuggy? Is it gonna work? Let me demonstrate how it will follow the door. Voila. There we go. I like it. Much better than having to put one of our good towels down there at night to keep the drafts out. Woohoo! That's fancy stuff right there. And once again, that hammock that I made all that out of was an incredibly lucky thing to have.